Welcome back everybody to the Modulus Beginner's Guide to Unreal Engine. Today's video is going to be about sprinting. We're going to also add a stamina system, but that will be in the next video. But one of the first things newcomers might want to figure out is a sprinting system. And so today we're going to take your character from jogging to sprinting. Very simple system, but an important one to learn. So let's get started. So we're here in the example map. I've just made a little alley to run through to illustrate the speed at which we're running. If you're still on the example map, that will work perfectly. No need to build this out unless you want to keep moving some objects around. But this will allow us to run up and down the alley. So right now we're running at a constant speed. No matter what I do, he is running that speed. So we're going to jump over to the third person character blueprint, and the way we're going to do that, if you've never used blueprints, is we're going to find the content browser. Yours might be down here somewhere. I keep mine up here, and we're going to open up that third person character. And so what a blueprint is, it is the code and every other component that comes with a character. So if we went to the viewport, we would see this camera boom, and that you can move the camera, you can rotate the camera, different things like that. A character blueprint holds all the things that make up a character, including this native system called character movement. And so if we click the event graph, this is where all the code and logic will live on a character and any other blueprint we create. And you might see a bunch of other things like VR and gamepad inputs. I've deleted those. You can leave them, but just make sure you scroll down here by holding right click and dragging to give yourself some empty space. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drag out this thing called character movement, because that's what we're going to use. Drag it out, place it on the blueprint, and then we're going to zoom in a little bit. So we're going to right click first, and we're going to type input shift. Click left shift. And so what this means is the game is going to be looking for anytime the left shift key is either pressed or released, and do various things depending on that. So go over here to this variables tab, and the only variable we're going to create today is going to be called is sprinting. And what we're going to use that for, first of all, make sure that this is dark red, and if it's not, you can click this, go up to this variable type, drop down, and make sure to click Boolean. And a Boolean is a on or off switch. It's a true or false. And so the reason we've named it is sprinting is we're going to tell the game when we're sprinting and when we're not. So let's drag this out and type set is sprinting. Click set is sprinting there. And when we hit, so that means when we hit shift, we're going to set is sprinting, and we're going to click this to say we are sprinting. Now the game doesn't know what that means because we've defined that, but we're about to define what it means. And so that's what this character movement node is for. So we're going to drag that blue pen off, and we're going to type set max walked speed. Click that top one there. Drag from one execution pin to the other. And so this is an important concept to grasp, is that when we move left to right, so this happens, then this happens, and this happens. And they've done that visually by using arrow pins that you need to connect. And so here we have set max walk speed. And if we go over to this character movement, we see that if you scroll down a little bit here, the default is 600 units per second, which is converted to 6 meters per second. And so let's say we want a sprint to be 400, 66% faster than that. So let's say 1000. So every time we hit shift, we're going to set our state to is sprinting, and we're going to set our max walk speed to 1000. But we also have to do on what happens when we release. So we're going to copy this. We're going to drag it just under it, and we're going to turn sprinting off, and we're going to set this back to 600. And we're going to connect release to that, and we're going to connect this character movement to target. So targets are very important to understand, in that anytime you tell something to happen, you have to tell it also what you want to apply that to. So if we didn't have this target selected. We're setting a max walk speed, and intuitively you would say, yeah, of course it's to us, but you have to define that, because what if you were doing logic based on an enemy based on what you're doing, and so you wanted to set the enemy's walk speed to 600 or to 2000 or whatever the case might be. You would set the enemy's target here, but for us, it's our own character movement because we dragged that component out and we've set it here. So on press, we're going to go up to 1000, and on release, we're going to go back to the default, which is 600. So if we click compile and click save, this should work. So click play, go back to the example map, start jogging. And if you hold sprint, you'll see that you're moving faster through the world. And we can hit escape here. We can go to the third person character and we can set this to 2500 just to get a really good sense that we are moving faster. So you're jogging and you hit shift, you're moving much faster through the world. So the system is working. In the next video, we'll be adding a stamina system to go along with this. So I'll see you there.